are you? Hi everybody, and welcome to my channel, Rain Ventures, Adventures for the Soul, Movement for the Body and Mind. And today, be kind to us, we're going to be discussing why we switched side-by-sides as our new venture. So, as you guys all know, if you've been following my channel for a while, from the old channel to the new channel, we had the Polaris Pro
XP Ultimate.
Now we have a Kawasaki
KRX 1000 ES with electronic suspension. Before we get hate for this video, especially the Polaris people out there, I want to say that I'll talk about good things about the machine, and then I'll kind of explain more reason why we ended up switching, and you guys will understand probably a little bit more.
It's a little bit my fault.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything, so, but anyways.
Where would you like to start?
So I guess to get into it, obviously, as we said, we had the Pro XP Ultimate, and it had, obviously we kind of went over before what we talked about on why we ended up buying that machine. And I still love a lot of things about the Polaris, with the way the accessories are at least attached. Obviously there's some negatives to their accessories as well.
We have a video on that you can go check out.
But basically we went out, we have the video where we went out with our friends and we were driving the Kawasaki, as you guys saw in the other video, which you can go check out that one as well.
We were, it should be called Showing Our Friends Windrock Park.
So we took my cousin's KRX 1000 out and we let them drive the Polaris. Unfortunately, after they drove it, I'm not sure what happened. I'm not blaming him. I'm not really sure what happened, but somehow he completely smoked the belt. And it was really bad. And that was kind of like the final straw for me. Unfortunately, with us having so many issues, or at least me having so many issues with the clutch system, I don't know if I just had a bad one. I know a lot of other people have zero issues, or basically zero issues with the machine. And obviously, as we saw, we already did a gear reduction on the machine. So I thought that would have solved basically all the issues with the actual transmission / the clutch, but it didn't. I didn't have too many issues driving it, but it was one of those things that Bailey unfortunately couldn't drive the machine very well. It just didn't work. And then obviously we couldn't have a friend or anybody else really drive it and have it not have to worry about any issues. That was one of the biggest things that
flipping.
I
didn't want to drive it because I've seen, if you've seen previous videos.
I was getting there next.
Yeah, well, we've kind of flipped it a few times on its side. I don't know if that's considered flipping it or rolling it.
We were just laid it on its side.
Laid it on its side quite a few times, so I was always terrified to drive it because I didn't want to be the one that did that.
Unfortunately, and people can say it's driver error all they want. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot you can do when you go over a rock and then all of a sudden the machine just tips. I mean, you can angle it all you want, and unfortunately, like on the one where we did the little school bus, we went around the big rock, and I'm not really sure why all of a sudden the machine just ended up tipping. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I know the other time we flipped on that one made sense just because of the angle that they kind of put me at. But either way, irregardless of that, it's just it's not as stable of a machine as the Kawasaki is by any means. And I know other people are going to say yes it is and whatnot, but there is a difference between a 64-inch and a 68-inch wide, just like there's a difference between the 68 and the 72, which I know Polaris has, but they have not come out with it yet. But I mean, honestly, the biggest thing for us was the tippiness of it.
Yeah, when we went out on the Kawasaki, when we took his cousin's, Brennan, he's been in a lot of videos, you can see his face randomly. I had never been so comfortable on a ride as when I was sitting passenger in the Kawasaki. I just, for the first time since we've been doing the side-by-siding and side-by-side videos, I actually could just like relax and not be scared that we're gonna, not that I should be scared, it's not like you're gonna get hurt, he reminds me of that all the time, but just to not be so stressed out about that, no, even on a simple trail sometimes, you can just feel it feels just like tippy. I don't know.
It is.
So I opened my mouth and I said, it's so nice to just sit and relax and not be worried about that. And then it just...
And then unfortunately, then when I ended up getting the machine back, we cleaned it after our friends were driving it and are using it, which once again, not blaming them by any means, just saying that after I felt that it didn't seem responsive or didn't seem right when I was even just trying to drive it around the house so we could get it clean. And that's when I pulled apart the clutch cover and saw how the belt was just completely burnt, and there was nothing wrong with that belt initially, and it just was like a snowball effect, and I finally was just so fed up with the whole entire thing. And supposedly there was nothing wrong with the clutch system. I took it to the dealership, they looked at it and numerous times, but I was so sick and tired of constantly worrying about the clutch / the tippiness for all sakes. I mean, the whole point is to go out there and have fun. And I can honestly say that I had a lot of fun in the machine at times, but then the other side of it, when I was worried about the clutch or worried about the tippiness of it, that kind of ruined the fun and kind of just put me over the edge of, I was like, okay, I'm just done. I unfortunately, I don't want it anymore. Like I said, I still love the machine. The power is amazing. The actual handling of it when you're going around corners and stuff at a higher speed is phenomenal. And once again, I will say the majority of the accessories are pretty cool on the machine, that the way they did. There's just a few things that players could obviously do better, but that's all machines. And it was one thing that with the Kawasaki, which we'll talk further, I'm sure, in a different video, Kawasaki's clutch system, being that it's a wet clutch or hydraulic clutch, it pretty much doesn't slip unless you get the belt wet, and even then it still manages to grip onto the belt. So it was just something that made it more enjoyable to go out. Plus, if Bailey wants to drive, then she can drive it and not have to worry about it. Unfortunately, in my opinion, in our situation, and the Polaris was not the right machine for climbing, doing rock climbing, and I know a few other people have videos of it doing rock climbing, but it's still not what it accelerates at. It accelerates at going fast and going up in the dunes and stuff, which unfortunately we never got to experience that aspect of it. But I will say the Kawasaki is definitely a much better rock climbing and slower speed vehicle. So that's pretty much the reason why we ended up switching, and we switched obviously to the KRX ES because it has electronic suspension, and Polaris obviously has the dynamic suspension, which is something that I really wanted. So kind of just ended up working out that they had come out with one and we were able to get our hands on one, and fortunately the rest is kind of history.
Yeah.
So I don't want any Polaris owners or any people that watch it that love Polaris. I still like the machine. I hope Polaris comes out with a better clutch system for their machine, or I honestly hope they come out with that automatic transmission that they talked about. That'd be phenomenal. Obviously, we won't be changing machines anytime soon.
No.
But in the future, if they were to come out with one, it has an actual transmission, definitely would be looking at going back to it. So.
Yeah, so that's our story, and we're sticking to it. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us today. And send us your thoughts and comments on it. You know, I read everything.
We're not
Don't be too hateful.
Yeah, we can handle it and take it. I mean, like I said, I'm sure there's going to be comments about it was
okay.
driver error and whatnot,
it's
but
fine. I love you anyways, regardless of what you say.
That's what it is.
So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you on my/our next venture. Bye, guys.